Squid Game Season 2 probably had one of the best first episodes of the series. It teased a brutal continuation of the games, reinforcing the high stakes and reminded us no one's safe. But then came the slow pacing and the forgettable side plots. Despite that, I held out hope that Season 3 would fill in the gaps, and it did, just in not the right way. In my opinion, this season really shouldn't have been a separate entry. It's literally a direct continuation of Season 2 with pretty much no new plot lines introduced. Everything picks up right where it left off, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded if they delivered on quality, but instead we got pretty much a boring nothing burger of a season.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And while we're here, let's talk about how Netflix marketed this like a new arc. Trailers hyped up some kind of rebellion, a darker twist, and the ultimate showdown. What we got felt more like a second half of a bloated finale they forgot to trim down. To explain anything in Season 3, I've got to bounce back to Season 2 because literally everything stems from there. In Season 2, Song Ji-hun and Hwang Jung-kyu, sorry if I butchered those, tried to infiltrate the games to take them down. Things go sideways when Ji-hun is captured by the frontman and re-entered into the games. He tries to help other players, but unlike to Season 1, no one's really listening and they die. Meanwhile, Jung-ho is trying to locate the game island by boat, which is captained by Park Yong-jil, who turns out to be working for the games. Most of that season is spent on voting drama and those aimless boat scenes. They teased a massive breakthrough that never came. The suspense was there, sure, but there was no payoff. Season 3 starts right after the Season 2 massacre cliffhanger. Ji-hun and two of the others survive, and yet the whole thing feels pretty unplanned. You'd expect the detective and captain arc to escalate into an island invasion, but nope. We spend the entire season still on that damn boat looking for it. Yes, they find it eventually, but by then the redundancy from Season 2 is just somehow worse. We literally spend entire episodes just watching characters squabble about coordinates and fuel. Once we're finally on the island, the games feel pretty dumbed down. The stakes feel artificially inflated, but the actual challenges are easy, predictable, plain uninspired. There was a lot of build up to a new game, but it ended up just being tagged with a twist, a very minor twist. It didn't feel clever or threatening. Then they also introduced the giant jump rope. It was so slow, and even when they said, "Oh my god, it's getting faster, we need to go quickly," I just felt like there was no threat. They were getting threatened by a rope that was giving them 10 seconds of time to react. Like, I don't know. Ji-hun barely talks this season, which sucks, since his screen time always added depth and urgency. Passive and distant, it almost feels like they didn't know what to do with him. Worse, every plotline feels like it was written just to kill time, or characters. A lot of the emotional beats were just speed bumps that didn't go anywhere. Let's talk about that CGI baby. When Jung-hee gives birth mid-season, it's supposed to be powerful. Instead, we get an uncanny, laughable CGI mess. It's like someone loaded an asset from The Sims into a life or death scene. Then the mother-son arc with the grandma and her son, absolute waste. The son literally asked his mum to switch teams during that killer tag because he thinks he will do better. Then he finally gets to the end, has not killed a single person, so he's not able to pass, and tries to kill Jung-hee and the baby. So his mum has to kill him, and that just leaves her guilty, and we all knew what was going to happen once her son died, because her entire purpose of the game was for him. It was so obviously telegraphed, and it sucked, because that mother really had potential in the show. You could feel they were trying to recapture Season 1's heartbreak, like Ali's betrayal or Se-byuk's death, but without the nuance, it just doesn't land. Of course, in the end, Ji-hun had to die. It was pretty much set in stone. The games were based to make him what seemed to be the next frontman, trying to follow the same plot as they did with the current frontman. But obviously, being Ji-hun, he didn't want to follow that path. He is a good person in the end, and he proves to everyone that humans are Now, I don't think they killed him off in a great way. In the end, he and Myung-gi get into a standoff similar to the end of season 1, except now they're fighting over this baby. Myung-gi, who pretty much was a total sociopath, suddenly wants to raise his kid. They fight, Myung-gi dies, but only one can survive as they forgot to press the button in the game. Gi-hun sacrifices himself and the baby wins. That's the ending, and that's what we waited for. It's one of those moments that's supposed to be bittersweet and noble, but just ends up being confusing. Who thought this was the emotional climax we needed? I really loved his speech in the end, and it really speaks volumes to the show, to the people in real life, to pretty much everything, but it just didn't hit right because he had to die in that scene, and it just didn't make sense. Here's what hurts the most. The potential really was there for this season. There were hints of something deeper, that rebellion from within, more insight into the origin of the games, maybe a connection to international versions of the game. None of that happened. I mean, yeah, technically the international one does, but The detective and captain plotline was perfect setup for a coordinated takedown of the operation. Island could have been fully explored. The moral dilemmas of the game could have been pushed further. Instead, we got boat arguments, awkward CGI, and recycled tension. Even the score and cinematography just felt downgraded. What used to be tight and atmospheric now just felt rushed and cheap. Season 3 was short, yes, but everything in it could have been wrapped into season 2 if they just cut the boat and voting filler. The emotional beats didn't hit, the tension didn't hold, and the finale a letdown. I wouldn't say it's unwatchable, but I can't recommend it either. If you made it this far into the franchise, I'd say watch it out of curiosity, but just don't expect much. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate all the love on my last video. Over 500 views. It's kind of unbelievable to me, and I am incredibly grateful to you guys. Please leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts on any shows, movies, this show, or something that you want me to cover next. And I will catch you all in the next one. Peace, fellas. Oh my god, who needs to message me this many times? Stop. Do not disturb. Excuse me, guys.